Let's do it. We vibing?
We're vibing today.
Oh, we're vibing.
Vibing today.
Marshmallows.
I don't know if I should wear my jacket or not.
Thanksgiving vibe. Welcome to the Sports Office. My name's Ryan Greene. This is Romi Bean. This is Michael Spencer, and you are a camera. This is the show where we get to talk about what we usually talk about when you're not here. And I was like, you know what? This is so good. We gotta start filming. And so here we are. Now we're on CBSN. All right. So let's start off with, and I'm almost annoyed at this point, the amount of injuries happening to Nuggets alone. Let's forget about every other team in Denver for the moment. They lost PJ Dozier to an ACL injury. Jokic has been out for a few games. Jamal, MPJ. I mean, you just go down the list. I know it's November, guys, but is this something to now seriously worry about for the Nuggets season this year?
I was talking about this with Michael earlier. Like with the Broncos, it's football. You're used to injuries,
True.
right? You're used to long injury lists this time of year. This is crazy, and for all of them to be happening at one period of time, you got Bones Hyland as well. So
right,
you got
forgot
Bones
about
and
him.
PJ,
God.
right? Michael Malone at the beginning of the season was really hell bent on the first 20 games. So teams that go 12-8 make the playoffs 92% of the time. It drops off after that. Well, they're not going to go 12-8 now, right?
Yeah. Oh!
It's time.
Is that?
That's
He's
the
waving
towel.
the white towel.
Throwing in the towel.
Wow.
That's how concerning these
Okay.
injuries are.
No, I
Because
was afraid of that.
not only are there a lot, but you're without your second best player in Jamal Murray, you're without your third best player in Michael Porter Jr. I think what you're going to see moving forward is a lot more rest days for Nikola Jokic.
Right.
I think that this team, as they look at this is a long haul approach, right? And I think they know this season right now, even if you're only 18 games in, it's already trending in a direction where you're not even concerned about getting a playoff seed. You might start thinking about where are we going to end up in the lottery and who are the guys on the end of the bench that we can start to develop.
My bigger concern is that they're going to rush them all back too soon.
Yeah,
when
100%.
these things happen, teams start to panic. And Jokic put Jokic back too early, and then that wrist thing lingers. We saw how beat up he was in the playoffs. Jamal. Right? That's my concern, is that they're going to rush them back too early if things continue in this direction.
I was hoping to come out of this with a positive attitude, but
Really
but no, I think you're right. It's just like, if you're looking at the situation logically at the moment, this might just be an off year where it's just like, hey, Coach Malone, do what you can. Oh man. Well, there you go. Hopefully we pick up the attitude in the next segment where we give out some mid-season awards to the Broncos. Well, not even awards, just like, you'll see. We can come back after this. Welcome back to the Sports Office. It is now time to talk about some Broncos. We thankfully got a week off from this team. I think this entire town just needed a nice week off. We're a little past the midway point in the season, I guess. So I just kind of wanted to see where you guys are sitting at with the Broncos. We're gonna do some mid-season awards, I guess, but not all of them are gonna be awards you want. That's why I'm like, awards. But let's just start off with a positive. I wanna know, Romi, we'll start with you. Who is not even the most valuable player on this team? Who is the most important player on this team right now? And Mike, you think, because I'm gonna ask you after.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go with Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons has been far and away the most reliable player on defense. He leads the team in interceptions. He leads the team in pass defended. I think he's second in tackles. So in terms of the defense has struggled with the run game, Justin kind of keeping everything together and being the leader of that defense, plus the numbers he's putting out. I'm gonna go with Justin.
I think Justin is probably the obvious one. I think it says something that we have struggled to come up with our most important players, and that I'm filibustering during this segment right now. Obviously, Teddy comes to mind. I'm gonna go kind of off the board. I think Lloyd Cushenberry is a really important piece right now. He has started every single game for this. He's played every single snap for this Broncos team, and when you look at their offensive line and where they are and being banged up, I think if you lose Lloyd Cushenberry, then you have some major issues there.
I'm a cynic, so I think this season's kind of like done with, which is why I think Javonte Williams is.
I was going to go Javonte, yeah.
I was going to go Rookie of the Year.
And that's fair. I think
he could be the most important player if Pat Shurmur would commit to the run.
Two good answers. I like those. All right, Mike, let's start with you here. What's been the most underwhelming part of the Broncos this year so far?
Their offense.
Okay.
I think that's, I think that's cut and dry, right? I mean, I think that where you thought from this offense was that they were going to at least keep you in games and give you a chance to win, and they haven't done that.
I was going to say that, obviously. So if I have to pick another one, I guess I'll go with special teams.
Yeah. Okay.
Because have we had a game this year that there has not been at least one? Not just an error, but a big one, right?
If you had a Broncos game day bingo card, special teams mistake would be the free space that you would get, right in the middle, because you know it's going to happen. I would have said the defensive backfield, one of the highest paid secondary in the NFL, and it's just been, you know, obviously not the worst part, but underwhelming for sure.
So since we picked all three phases, that's not great. It's not a great outlook.
And we didn't even hit on
coaching staff.
Oh man, and then
never mind. I take it
ownership.
back.
Oh boy. All right, let's just move on here. If the NFL draft were today, I don't need a player, but what would be the position group that the Broncos go for, like the first pick?
Starts with a Q and ends with an order back.
Would that be?
Yeah, I mean the only issue there is that I don't know that there's a guy worthy.
That's what everyone's saying.
Of being picked in that spot. I think outside edge rusher would be the other.
That's
the other spot there. Yeah.
All right, coming up, we're finally gonna have some fun. I promise. A little game time and some hats off. We give a little recognition to people that deserve it. That's up next. Welcome back into the Sports Office. Time for our final segment. We're gonna start with some games. Little Who Dis.
I love games. I hate this game.
Yes. That's what I was expecting. This is the game where I dig into my photo archive. I've been at this station for 5 years, taking a lot of pictures of athletes. A lot of athletes that these two have covered. So these are some pictures that I promise are pictures of athletes they have covered. Now I just want to see if they remember them. Okay? Who is this?
Nico Carvacho.
Oh. Hey! Did you at least know?
I did.
Okay.
I was slow.
Okay.
Nico was actually on my mind because he tweeted something after CSU's big comeback.
Oh, there you go. All right.
And so I saw that. He was so good too. He was like a walking double-double for the Rams.
All right, let's do Who Dis.
I don't know, but I love that throw.
I do too.
Didn't really make it to. Don't think like regular season Broncos.
Yeah, I'm out.
This is wide receiver Kenny Bell.
Ooh.
Do you remember Kenny Bell?
No.
No? He was he went to Nebraska. He was the one that took that ridiculous block.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was on the roster for a little bit, and that's his afro.
Delightful hair.
Right? All right, final one. Who dis?
Hey! Bill's Mafia!
That's right.
The Red Pinto Tailgate.
Red Pinto Tailgate, correct. Mike, this was 2 years ago today.
So
literally to the date.
Fun.
You were eating bacon off the hood of a burning car.
And you were doing shots out of the bowling ball. That was so not COVID safe.
I definitely got COVID.
Oh my gosh, that was like right before COVID too.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never thought I would be jealous of you guys out in Buffalo in like freezing November, and then when you came up with this for Countdown to Kickoff, I was so jealous.
We should do a catch-up ceremony for Welcome to the Sports Office.
All right, as always, we are going to wrap up with Hats Off. This is where we give a little tip of the cap to someone who had a good week last week that didn't really get the recognition we thought they did. So I'm going to start before anyone steals.
No!
Yeah, buddy. Hats off to the Rams basketball team. Paradise Jam chance. I mean, especially David Roddy averaging, what, 30 points a game. That
MVP.
That just warms my heart.
Fun to watch. Since we did note all of the underwhelming pieces of the Broncos this year, you know what? I'm going to give my hats off to George Payton.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In his first year as GM, this week, of course, he signed Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton. Did not think they were going to get both done in the same week. In a year where he's kind of still finding his role, right? He was kind of still, John Elway's still in the building, and George Payton is just he's taking charge, and I love it. So hats off.
All right, I'm going to go, I'm going to stick on the CSU train. I'm going to go Trey McBride.
Yeah.
Mackey Award finalist for the best tight end in the country. Leads the nation in terms of tight ends in yards and receptions. I don't even care if he wins the award, which he should, by the way.
Yeah, how does he not?
The fact that he's the first CSU Ram to ever be nominated for that award or to ever be a finalist for that award is well-deserving honor. Good luck. He should win that.
On his way to being drafted.
Yes, very high, very high. Also, shout out to the Rapids. We filmed this on Wednesday, and by the time it airs, the game's going to be over, so...
Taking on the NFL, no fear, on a Thanksgiving. I love it.
Oh, man. Just like us. For Romi Bean, for Michael Spencer, I'm Ryan Greene. That wraps it up. Thank you for coming to the Sports Office.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah.